Ferrari is in total shock and Lewis Hamilton could lose his Abu Dhabi result. The FIA just revealed critical post-race evidence showing Hamilton's SF25 may have broken technical rules. If confirmed, Hamilton will be disqualified and Ferrari could lose crucial constructors' points. And the twist: Ferrari engineers had already warned the car was unstable and unpredictable before the race even started. Subscribe now because this evidence could completely rewrite Hamilton's first season at Ferrari. The 2025 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix was supposed to be a calm ending to Ferrari's challenging season. McLaren and Red Bull had dominated the championship, leaving Ferrari to focus on salvageable points rather than victories. Charles Leclerc finished fourth, extracting the maximum performance from a car that was already compromised in balance and reliability. Hamilton, meanwhile, finished eighth after starting 16th, struggling with a car that repeatedly tested his skill and patience throughout the race. At the time, these results seemed routine, but post-race revelations would shock the entire paddock. Telemetry from Hamilton's SF25 revealed unusual behavior under high-speed lateral loads, particularly in Sector 3, near the hotel complex. Onboard footage shows Hamilton constantly correcting the steering as the rear of the car became unpredictable. Unlike Leclerc, whose setup was tuned for stability and tire management, Hamilton's driving style, which relies on precise trail braking and rotation, clashed with the car's narrow performance window. The repeated corrections illustrate how unstable the car was during cornering, highlighting potential compliance issues in the suspension. FIA post-race analysis confirmed that Hamilton's SF25 displayed mechanical anomalies that were outside homologated limits. While subtle to the eye, the right rear suspension component showed consistent deviations in deflection under lateral load. Such behavior, even without failure or contact, constitutes a potential breach of Article 11 of the technical regulations, which governs component compliance. The FIA's initial report flagged these anomalies as serious enough to warrant a full investigation, putting Hamilton and Ferrari on alert for an imminent penalty. Comparisons with Leclerc's car revealed that the issue was isolated to Hamilton's chassis. Both SF25s were built to near-identical specifications, yet Leclerc's car maintained full compliance under identical loads. This eliminated the possibility of a systemic design fault and pointed toward either a setup-specific or assembly-related anomaly. Engineers speculated that Hamilton's aggressive driving inputs may have stressed the component more, but the responsibility ultimately remains with the team to ensure all parts comply at all times. Further evidence came from frame-by-frame analysis of high-speed camera footage. The FIA verified that Hamilton's right rear suspension compressed more than expected through multiple laps. Aligning these visual cues with telemetry data confirmed that the mechanical behavior observed on track matched the deviation patterns detected in post-race sensor logs. This triangulation of video, telemetry, and mechanical testing strengthens the case for a potential technical infraction and provides the FIA with robust grounds for sanction. The implications extend beyond the Abu Dhabi race result. Ferrari's internal communications suggest that engineers had noted rear-end instability during practice and qualifying sessions, but had attributed it to track conditions and thermal variations. Now, with the FIA confirming anomalies in post-race analysis, these early warnings take on new significance. What was previously seen as a performance quirk may now be interpreted as a structural compliance issue, leaving the team vulnerable to a formal penalty. Finally, this revelation compounds the existing pressure on Ferrari heading into 2026. Leclerc's post-race statements emphasized urgency. It's now or never. I need a winning car next year, not promises. Combined with Hamilton's potential disqualification and the SF25's mechanical anomalies, Ferrari faces a multi-layered challenge, managing driver morale, safeguarding their reputation, and ensuring regulatory compliance in the final moments of the 2025 season. Abu Dhabi, once considered routine, may now be remembered as the turning point that reshaped Ferrari's immediate future. The FIA began its post-race investigation by scrutinizing telemetry from Hamilton's SF25. Data showed repeated irregularities in the right rear suspension under lateral loads in Sector 3. Wheel load, yaw rate, and suspension deflection readings indicated that the component was not performing consistently with the homologated specifications. The deviation was subtle, measurable only with high-precision sensors, yet it was enough to trigger further examination. Even minor fluctuations are treated seriously because Formula One rules mandate absolute conformity for all components. Following telemetry review, the FIA conducted physical mechanical testing on the suspicious suspension element. Using hydraulic actuators and controlled load simulations, technicians reproduced the stresses Hamilton's car experienced during the race. The component flexed beyond its declared tolerance by more than 3 millimeters under lateral stress. Although the part did not fail or break, the deviation surpassed the legal compliance threshold, violating Article 11 of the technical regulations. This provides a foundation for a potential penalty. Comparative analysis with Leclerc's SF25 was crucial to understanding the anomaly. Both cars were built to nearly identical specifications, yet Leclerc's suspension maintained compliance under identical conditions. This indicated that the irregularity was isolated to Hamilton's chassis rather than a systemic design flaw. Possible causes included minor assembly variations, material batch differences, or specific setup choices tailored to Hamilton's driving style. Regardless of origin, the FIA treats all components as the team's responsibility to ensure legality. High-speed camera footage further corroborated the findings. Frames captured the SF25's right rear suspension, compressing more than expected during multiple laps. This visual evidence, aligned with telemetry, confirmed that the component's behavior on track matched the mechanical deviation observed in tests. This triangulation between video, sensor data, and physical testing provides a clear, indisputable picture of noncompliance, strengthening the FIA's case for sanction. The FIA also evaluated reproducibility by analyzing several key laps, specifically laps 31, 34, and 36. Each lap showed identical right rear flex patterns under similar loads. This consistency rules out one-time damage or impact as the cause. It demonstrates that the suspension behavior was intrinsic to the component under operational conditions, fulfilling the criteria for a formal technical breach. It is important to note that the FIA's concern is legality, not performance gain. Even though Hamilton finished 8th and was not competing for the podium, the car's non-compliance alone warrants a penalty. The regulations make clear that any component operating outside homologated limits compromises the legality of the result, independent of whether it offered a measurable advantage on track. This principle ensures fairness across the entire grid. Finally, Ferrari now faces significant regulatory implications. The evidence points to a clear technical infraction with Hamilton's SF25. The team could lose points from Abu Dhabi, and Hamilton's result may be nullified. The FIA's findings also emphasize the zero-tolerance approach in modern Formula One, where even millimeter-scale deviations are treated as serious breaches. Ferrari must now defend the anomaly or accept a sanction that could impact driver morale, team reputation, and off-season preparations heading into 2026. In Formula One, every rear suspension component is critical not just for handling, but also for aerodynamics. The SF25's suspension influences rear ride height, pitch, and floor aerodynamics, directly affecting downforce and tire contact. Any flex beyond approved limits alters how the car reacts mid-corner, potentially changing rotation, traction, and stability. The FIA monitors dynamic compliance with extreme precision. Even minor deviations, measured in millimeters, can constitute a regulatory violation. In Hamilton's case, the right rear suspension exceeded those thresholds consistently. Article 11 of the technical regulations governs this compliance. It explicitly prohibits any dynamic deformation outside declared tolerances unless pre-approved. Intent or performance gain is irrelevant. Legality is absolute. FIA data shows that Hamilton's component repeatedly deflected beyond the limit during Sector 3. Even if the car's performance did not lead to a podium finish, this consistent deviation qualifies as a technical breach, giving the FIA grounds for a potential disqualification. Hamilton's driving style interacted with the car's mechanical behavior in a significant way. Known for precise trail braking and heavy rotation through mid-corner, Hamilton requires a responsive rear suspension. The extra flex in the SF25 caused unpredictable reactions, forcing constant corrections. These inputs stabilized the car momentarily, but they also highlighted the structural deviation. The FIA considers such behavior a violation because the component did not conform to its declared mechanical properties throughout the race. Even minor suspension deviations have cascading effects. A few millimeters of unexpected movement can change rear tire load distribution, adjust pitch, and alter floor airflow. The repeated right rear flex detected in Hamilton's car could have subtly affected rotation and corner stability. While Hamilton maintained control, the deviation placed the SF25 outside legal limits. In modern F1, small movements are not trivial. They can dictate legality, driver confidence, and race outcomes. Ferrari's setup and assembly are under scrutiny. Both SF25s were built to nearly identical specifications, yet only Hamilton's displayed the anomaly. This points to potential assembly variants, part batch differences, or minor setup choices tailored to Hamilton's driving style. Teams are responsible for ensuring compliance. Even a subtle deviation is treated as a failure to meet the homologation standard. Hamilton cannot be held accountable, the team is. The zero-tolerance nature of F1 compliance is emphasized by this incident. The FIA enforces precise tolerances across suspension, aero, and floor components. Any part that flexes beyond approved limits triggers investigation. This case demonstrates that even elite teams with world-class drivers must ensure every part behaves exactly as homologated. Minor deviations, even unintentional, carry significant consequences.